Hi everyone, I'm Taylor. I'm an American expat living in Malaysia, and I like to share my life and travels with you. Are you thinking about retiring to Malaysia or somewhere? If you're thinking about Malaysia, you're probably wondering which city is going to be best for you. So, to continue my Retire to Malaysia series, Which City is Best?, we're going to talk about Kuala Lumpur, the largest city in Malaysia and one of the largest cities in Southeast Asia. It's a fascinating place. Stay tuned to find out if you might want to live here. Okay, as many of you probably know, I've lived here in KL since March. And I could have done this video sooner, but I thought to be fair, I should wait until I'd lived here a while. Now it's been about 8 months. So, is that 8 months? I don't know. Anyway, so I've been here for a while, and so I feel like I can speak from a more informed place. Kuala Lumpur is, like I said, the largest city in Malaysia and has a metro population of over 7.5 million people. But don't let that intimidate you, because really it's just a series of smaller areas. That's the way I see it. There's neighborhoods all over that just make you feel like you're not in such a large city. As many of you know, I live in the Ampang area, and that's where the embassies are and a lot of expats, and it's very convenient to KLCC. Actually, my apartment is only 3.5 kilometers from the Twin Towers. KL is visually known mostly for the Twin Towers. They used to be the tallest twin towers in the world and are still beautiful and impressive. Well, you can't look at a picture of KL without seeing the Twin Towers, I don't think. They're really beautiful and inspiring every time I see them. And soon, maybe later this year, Kuala Lumpur is going to be home to the second tallest building in the world, Merdeka 118, which I can see from my window. You can see here in a picture. It's that super tall building off in the distance. I can't wait till it's finished because I'm sure it's going to have some exciting lighting effects. In fact, I read it's just going to be covered with all kinds of lights, sort of like the Twin Towers, which they light up constantly for different occasions. The diverse population of KL consists mostly of 3 groups: the Malays, which are the majority, the Chinese Malaysians, and the Indian Malaysians. Because they have these 3 groups, all major religions are equally respected here. Also, because it's the capital of Malaysia and has all the embassies here, it has a large and diverse group of expats too, and a lot of retirees. I think most of the retirees here just aren't quite ready for the really quiet life you can have in other cities in Malaysia. And maybe they'll move there, maybe I'll move back to Penang, who knows. But for now, I'm loving KL. Now, I'm not going to get into the history of Malaysia today, but it is fascinating and I urge you to look it up. The main thing you need to know is that because it was a former British colony, English is widely spoken. So if you speak English, you're going to have no trouble at all here, particularly in the larger cities like KL. Now I'm going to talk about some of the housing areas that the expats seem to like. Well, there's my neighborhood, Ampang, where the embassies are, as I said. Ampang is extremely convenient to the downtown core and probably has less high-rises than some of the other areas because there's so many beautiful large homes. I'll put a link down below for my tour of the Ampang area and the houses here. It's amazing. One of the things I was so surprised about when I moved to KL was how green it is, how many trees there are. Now, of course, yes, this is a tropical area and used to be a jungle, but there's very little jungle left. But there's still a lot of beautiful trees and a lot of shaded areas and wonderful parks. As you know, I overlook a beautiful park right out my window. And it even has a lake. Other areas that I hear that expats like to live in is Bangsar South. I must admit I haven't been there yet, but people have mentioned it to me as a very nice place for expats to live. Also the Mont Kiara area and Damansara, both beautiful areas of KL. Now, I'd say the Mont Kiara area probably caters mostly to expat families with children. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so. And you'll find plenty of expats just in the downtown KL area. Bukit Bintang is full of expats and so convenient to everything. Shopping, dining, anything you could need. Okay, let's talk about getting around in KL. I have never seen more cars in my life. I tell you that off the bat. But I recently have discovered, and it's silly that I didn't know this beforehand, but KL has an enormous light rail system. Monorail and light rail. It's amazing, and the bus system is amazing too. And it's very affordable. Here's a map of KL that shows where all the trains go. It's just as impressive as any major city I've ever seen in the world. I just recently did a tour of the transit system here with my friend Peter. It was eye-opening, and it really helped me get a feel for where I am in the city just by riding around. Anyway, you can easily get along without a car here. Now, you all know I have my motorcycle, and we do have a car too, but if you didn't, it's not a problem. And if the transit system doesn't get you somewhere, you can take an affordable Grab car too. Shopping in KL is world class, let me tell you. Well, you have the two major luxury malls, KLCC, that's the older one, and Pavilion, which is probably the nicest mall I've ever seen in my life. My goodness, it has all the designer brands, lovely restaurants. It's amazing. It's in a great neighborhood too. But believe me, every neighborhood in KL has a mall. I mean, or two or three, frankly. There's the Sunway malls, Velocity, and Sunway Pyramid. But I mean, honestly, every time you turn around, they're building a new mall. I have only been in a fraction of them, but I can tell you it's not going to be a problem. You're going to find any shopping you need here. Also, eating out is amazing. Just like all of Malaysia, eating out is almost always cheaper than cooking at home for some reason. It's just that places are really affordable. Now, I have to say, compared to Penang, the restaurants in KL do seem a bit more expensive and more likely to have a service charge of 10%. But that's okay because you don't tip here anyway. I'll put a link to one of my eating out vlogs below. You can see some of my favorite places, mostly in my area. And of course, there's always the Mamaks and the hawker food courts. Can't beat those for pricing. And every neighborhood's gonna have that. And just like Penang, or I imagine any city in Malaysia, the grocery shopping choices are wonderful. I mean, as you probably know, I have a village grocer in my building. That means I can just take the elevator downstairs, and it's like going to Whole Foods. I guess probably only Americans are familiar with Whole Foods, but it's an upscale grocery chain in the US. I love the village grocer, but there's cheaper options too if you don't want to spend that much money. I did notice that there's not as many wet markets here as there are in Penang. And they're not as good. Well, at least the ones I've seen anyway. I think because it's such a large city that you're just likely to find more grocery stores than wet markets in KL. Healthcare is going to be like the rest of Malaysia. Fabulous. I still go to Penang for my regular checkups because I like my doctor there and it gives me an excuse to go visit my friends in Penang. But there's plenty of places to go here. Why, my apartment's within walking distance of two major hospitals, Gleneagles and another one I can't remember the name of, but it's just behind us. There's a lot of chain hospitals here in Malaysia, but it's not an issue. And the prices, I imagine, are pretty much the same as they are in Penang. Affordable. If you want to see the most amazing hospital I've ever seen in my life, check out Prince Court. Prince Court. It's very near the KLCC. And wow, I mean, you won't believe it. Look it up on YouTube because I saw a video on it once and I was amazed. It is the classiest hospital I have ever seen, and yet still affordable. It'd be my choice if I had to go to one, although I'd probably go to one closer like Gleneagles. But luckily I haven't needed to go to the hospital. I'm still pretty healthy. That's what my doctor said at my last checkup. I do have a video on healthcare in Malaysia, which I'll put the link below, and it'll give you more information. Now, I do have insurance. Now, insurance here is different. It only really covers major medical, well, I guess hospitalization. So when you go to the doctor or have your checkups, that's all out of pocket. Now, not for locals though. If you're Malaysian, everything is free, universal health care. But of course that doesn't extend to expats, and it shouldn't. But it's so affordable that anyone pretty much can afford it. Now don't think that just because it's a big cosmopolitan city that there's no outdoor activities, because there's plenty. As I've mentioned, I have the park right across the street, And I can walk around there and enjoy the lake. And I see people jogging there all the time. There's a beautiful park right behind KLCC. It's amazing. And there's parks dotted all around the city. And if you want to go hiking or get up into the mountains, Genting Highlands is only an hour away. My goodness. And if you want to stay cool, go there because it's at least 10 degrees cooler there, if not more. And I think it's cool enough at night that you might even need a sweater or a jumper, as the Aussies and UK people say. But there's a zoo, there's Butterfly Park, there's a bird park, there's Batu Caves, lots of interesting outdoor things to do. And of course, every condo is going to have a pool and workout room. That just goes without saying. Now, although I haven't checked it out, I'm sure there's other activities for expats too here in KL, like chess or mahjong. Now, I haven't joined a mahjong group here, but my friend Paul and Ellen, has come for tournaments, chess tournaments here in KL, and I think he's even won some money doing it. So there's plenty of that, and there's plenty of interesting things to keep you busy. Or, like I said recently, you can start a YouTube channel if you're bored. Now, in my video of Penang, I talked about the wildlife, and there's much more wildlife there than there is here. And that might be interesting to some of you because not all people want wildlife right next to them, like monkeys and snakes. But I haven't seen any monkeys here, but I know there are some. Whereas in Penang, you see monkeys all the time. And snakes, there are probably snakes too, but I haven't seen any of those either. And insects, yes. Just like Penang, there's a lot of mosquitoes, but they're very well controlled. I have mentioned before that I just don't think mosquitoes like me. I think I must taste really nasty. But they just don't seem to bite me. But you'll see them fogging constantly. In fact, I see them doing it right now. So they keep the mosquitoes at bay. And like all major cities, you will find roaches somewhere. Like when we moved into this apartment, I'm sorry to say, it had quite a few roaches. But I found a pest control company that for only 50 ringgit a month, which is about $10 or $12, will come and spray, and it keeps them away completely. Now our apartment is completely bug-free. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the people here in KL. Like all of Malaysia, the people are warm and friendly and welcoming. Now, maybe not quite the same as in Penang, which I think is a friendlier place, and I've been to Malacca too, and I thought it was pretty friendly too. Now, I'm not saying that the people in KL aren't friendly. It's just a more cosmopolitan, busy place where a lot of people are working and busy doing that, and so they have less time to just be sweet to strangers, I guess. But if you have any problems with anything, you're going to find somebody that can help you. And once again, English is spoken everywhere, so that's never a problem. But like I said, like all of Malaysia, the people are the crowning glory of Malaysia, in my opinion. They are the kindest, warmest, most welcoming people I've met anywhere in the world. So I hope you've enjoyed this tiny little introduction to retired life in Kuala Lumpur. It's where I live, so it can't be that bad, right? But if you've enjoyed this and got any information out of it, please like and subscribe to my channel. You know I need more subscribers. I always do. Also, if you want to make sure you see all of my videos, check the notification bell, and then you'll be reminded anytime I have a new video. I've enjoyed meeting people here in KL, many people that I've met through my channel, and many people visiting on exploratory trips to see if they want to move here. So I hope to meet more of you soon. Well, I think that's about it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more in the future, and talk to you later. Bye!